Hello, how's it going today? I am having a good day so far, and I think it's going to be an even better day because we are building a board I've been very excited about. Before we get to that, I just want to say thank you for watching, whether that's here on Twitch or if you're watching on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the people that have followed me on Twitch or subscribed on YouTube. That's been really fun to kind of interact with people there. And yeah, I'm having a good time building boards, hanging out with a cool group of people. So yeah, it's chill. I'm feeling chill vibes today. Low energy, just hanging out, having a good time. And today will be extra chill, but I'm also very excited. Don't get me wrong. This is a board I have literally been begging Rama Works to send me in the outros and my kind of housekeeping segments for months now, and it is here. I'm very, very excited about it. It is the Rama Kara. Let me show you this packaging. It is gorgeous. I mean, come on. I don't know. I'm blown away every time I see the attention to detail that Rama Works puts into anything. It's really nice. I like it a lot. This illustrations are beautiful. Kind of remind me of like the Dagwood comics or Archie or something like that. But man, this is just gorgeous. So today we'll be putting this guy together. This is the Soya colorway. I actually got this in a few weeks ago, but I had some client builds, some commissions, and then also this was more serendipity than any sort of a foresight on my part. But today, July 19th, 2021, if you're watching this live, that's today, or if you're watching this in the future, that's the date, is the day that sequence 2, or basically round 2 of this board, is live on Rama Works. They don't have the same colorways. In fact, let's pull it up. ramaworks.store. Kara, sequence 2. They have green, black, white. That's a color that is similar. Iced, totally clear, which I think is really neat. Musk, which is a new one. It's kind of a pinkish. Momo, kind of a peach. I think that would look amazing with GMK peaches and cream. Puff and Tang, which is an orange. Excuse me. So these are all live right now, available for pre-order. Let me check Mine, as far as shipping time goes, just to give you an idea, obviously COVID messed with it a little bit. So, you know, there may not be as much time, not to mention the fact that they probably had, or probably will have an easier time on round 2. 182 days is how long I waited to get this board. So that's just at 6 months. I think a little bit over 6 months. So yeah, your mileage may vary, but I think if you order this board, you will probably receive it in 6 months or less. And again, I can show you those colorways. Very cool. Also, they in their weekly update mentioned that they are getting closer to these Kate keycaps, which I'm very excited about. They look amazing. I just love kind of retro aesthetic keycaps, and I don't know. Like I said, attention to detail is really Rama's strong suit, so I think these are going to be excellent. We'll see. I'm absolutely going to pre-order these keycaps. We'll see how many sets of them I buy, but yeah. Anyways, that is what we're building. So if you like what you see here today, you can go out and order it. Unfortunately, this colorway is not available on this drop, and it's not a drop in this pre-order. However, there are other colors, and some I very much like. I've half considered buying another one, depending on how this goes today. We'll see. I like this Noct colorway a lot. I think Milk looks really good, and I think Iced is very interesting. Iced really does highlight the fact that this is a injection molded plastic board, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I have high hopes for how this board will sound. So with all of that as a prelude, let's open this guy up. I also have a second package because I ordered the internal damper, which is like a silicone pad that screws onto the inside. So let us pop this guy. And I believe this illustration is of the Kate keycaps. So little preview there. This is a 60% keyboard in the HHKB layout, which is actually what I've started using at work. I built a D60 in the HHKB layout that I have started using as my daily driver. Look at this assembly manual. I mean, come on. This is outstanding. This is so above and beyond what I see from most other keyboards. Even shows you how to lube your stabs. I wonder what kind of stabs these are. These don't look like normal Durox stabs. I wonder if these are the Stabies that I saw on Zamburon's Instagram, or if Rama's got their own thing in the works. I'm not sure. Or if that's just them doing a generic. And they even show you how to install silencing foam in a spacebar, which I don't think this comes with, but is a product you can purchase. Man, this is great. So we will be referencing this because I believe there's a fairly unique silicone dampening mat that goes on top of the PCB. So yeah, set that aside for the moment. Let's grab, just maybe kind of dump this out. There we go. This is, yes, this is the dampener, I believe. This goes on top of the PCB. It's kind of like a plate at the same time. I think it's both. I think this is a plate and a silicone layer. Yeah, it is. So there you go. Here's the silicone layer, which kind of acts like a gasket as well. And then a polycarbonate plate, which you know how polycarbonate plates just get me going, man. And here we have the case. So you can see it's kind of this beige kind of eggshell color. That's the Soya colorway, which I selected. Initially, I was thinking I would do maybe Infiniki Amalfi. I think GMK Birch would look great on this if I had a set. Obviously, that hasn't shipped. So let's set this aside and let's open the second box. Hey! Oh, no way. Good to see you. It's been a minute. How have you been? All right, here is a package of hardware and a cable and a switch puller. Hey, thank you for the follow, Sunkeist. I appreciate that. Really helps the stream out. Here's my internal damper, which is a silicone pad and the screws needed to attach it. And here is the PCB, as well as some gaskets. So, yeah, I have a feeling that if anyone can make a 100% plastic case sound amazing, dude, for sure. Well, appreciate you stopping by. It's been a minute since I've seen you, so hope you're doing well. Hey, I am building this board with mint linears today as well. How about that? I'll be using mint linears and C3 stabilizers in the Tiffany colorway, so they're kind of a nice teal to match the mints. Ironically, I'm not using keycaps that remotely match the switches. I could be. We'll see. But I have two options, and I will present them later. But let us consult the instructions. I want to do this thing right. Take my time. You know, let's not rush this. This isn't something that should be rushed. There's no soldering here today, so we can just kind of hang out. So we need the top enclosure, the base enclosure, the back plate, and the custom molded foot. Oh, okay. That actually makes a lot of sense. Those were not gaskets, those were feet. Great. These are feet. As well as all of our hardware. And then a mute PCB and a plate, a cable, switch puller, etc. So to start things off, let's actually lube the stabilizers. Let me get out my mat for that. Man, my mat is still buried because I had forgotten that I'll actually need it for this. So, fun story for y'all. Today, I was at work, and my wife just started school for being a physician's assistant, so PA school. And so she's been home working on that. It's online for the moment, and then she'll switch to in-person in September. So she's been home online working on school. She calls me, and I just hear screaming, and she's nowhere near the phone, just screaming, and I immediately think the worst. And then she picks up the phone and says that a spider just crawled out of her keyboard. It had crawled in, and then she was screaming, trying to get it out. It crawled out, and then she squashed it. So she uses, in fact, I can show you. She's been daily driving this guy, the NK65 Milkshake Edition. But apparently a spider had gotten inside of it and had been sneaking around in there. I've since swapped it out for a Mysterium that I built because I think for her it's a little hard when you don't know where, like, which key is Control, which key is Alt, and then you know, on this board they're just symbols. So I swapped it out with a Mysterium that has DSA Vile Bloom. But yeah, dude, I agree. I've never even considered the possibility of like a bug crawling out of my keyboard. But anyways, that was kind of a funny moment today. I thought she was being murdered and this was her last will and testament, as she calls me on the phone. But actually, it's a spider inside her mechanical keyboard. So, little excitement for the day. Anyways, glad everything is okay. All right, so here are my teal stabilizers. Aren't they cute? C3 stabilizers. So we're only going to need 3. We need the shift, enter, or do we need 4? What is the layout? I think the enter is smaller on this board. No, there's no backspace. That's what it is. So 3. A 7U and 2U. So we just need these 3. So 1, 2, and 3. picked these up on Mech Market recently. I think I've bemoaned my fate last stream of trying to advertise my build services on Mech Market and finding out that you need 20 confirmed trades, which I had completed at least that many trades on Mech Market. I just at the time didn't know how to confirm them, and I think I had 2. Don't they? I had never even seen this colorway, but then someone was selling them on Mech Market, so I picked them up. But anyways, so I've been manically purchasing things like stabilizers and springs just to get my 20 confirmed trades. So I'm up to 19, so hopefully in the next week or so I'll be able to start advertising again, but you know how it is. All right. So that is all the wires we're going to need. If you're new to the stream, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I try to stream every Monday, but your results may vary. I may be on a Sunday, might be on a Tuesday, might not stream at all. But having said that, I try to be consistent. Yeah, I'm in the middle of moving. Oh, really? NK65 FR4 plates. Oh, interesting. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, I'm in the middle of moving within the same town, so it's not like I'm leaving the state or anything, but, you know, all that to say, I might be in or out some weeks, but for the most part, I'm here Mondays, and I'm just chilling. Oh my goodness. Dutch Master? Are you kidding me? Wow. I don't know what to say. Thank you. This is insane. 39. Wow. This is... I'm speechless. Thank you so much. This is the most viewership I've ever had, so thank you. I guess to... Thank you, RageKilla1222 and Classic Rory for the follow. I really appreciate that. And my goodness. And also Dutch Master. Man, you just made my night. This is crazy. Thank you for joining me. I'm building a Rama Kara today, as you can probably tell. Oh my... Aussie. I've been... Okay. Fellas, we're in the presence of a celebrity here. Thrilly, thank you for the follow. Aussie is probably the best keyboard photographer out there. And I have been following him for quite a while. I've been watching his stream. 10 out of 10. Do recommend watching Aussie streams. I'm this close to buying some Godox lights because of you, Aussie. So thank you. Oh my word. I am sweating here. I'm fangirling right now, but wow. Okay, I will try to keep it together. I'm gonna lube these stabs real quick, and then we'll be on our way. But thank you so much. This is so cool. Wow. Whew. All right. So first, oh yeah, this is the Soya. Absolutely. This is the colorway that I'm actually kind of bummed they're not rerunning because I really like it. It's like the off-white eggshell color. I think it's beautiful. But I mean, they have a whole bunch of colors up right now. So yeah, I was mentioning earlier, I had this build ready to go for a couple weeks, but just client stuff needed to come first. But yeah, the serendipity of me happening to stream this the day that they launched Sequence 2. Yeah, I agree. I like them a lot. I really, what this is mostly doing for me, though, is getting me incredibly excited for the Kate keycaps. I don't know. Something about that shape just really gets me going. I love like retro profiles. So yeah, right on. Ozzy, do you have an R1 of this? I know I've seen photos of it. I think I've seen like the mint colorway. But okay, Azure and Soya, right on. I saw you were posting pictures of them with the, I think it was the MT3 Extended 2048, which really, I was like, that inspired me. I'm using the MT3 Susuwatari, so the kind of like the black with the white and red, and I'm pretty excited about that. Me too. All right, let me finish lubing the inside of these housings. Dutch, I'll have to check out your photography. If Ozzy's recommending it, it has to be good. Oh, a link. An Instagram link. Hey, and my auto mod did not crack down on it. Thank you, auto mod. Oh, Dutch, I've seen your posts on Instagram. I think I follow you on Instagram. Right on. Cool. The more and more I've gotten into the keyboard community, the more I see like more and more familiar faces, you know? You end up like, I don't know, there's a lot of people there, but it feels like a pretty close community where, yeah, people are active. They're engaged with each other's content, which I think is really cool. So it's neat. It's kind of unlike any other hobby I've been a part of, you know? For sure. It's pretty amazing how quickly it's been growing as of late too. You know, just I heard, this may or may not be true, but I heard that like GMK is adding a new keycap set to their production lineup every day. Like, so over 300 sets a year. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it definitely seems like it. Yeah, good question. So my origin story is I'm a software developer. And I, one day, just kind of on a whim, was thinking, I've been typing on this mushy, like HP that was sent with my computer at work for years. There's got to be something better out there. So I went on Amazon and I bought a, no real gatekeeper tactics and elitism that you would expect. Yeah, for sure. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing I've found that keeps people out of a hobby is elitism, or people just poo-pooing them when they don't know anything. But I haven't seen a ton of that in this hobby. Obviously, there's some, and you'll get some in any hobby. But this has been a very welcoming hobby for me. But yeah, so I would say this is probably about 5 years ago. Working as a software dev, and thinking there's got to be something else better. I mean, I type on a keyboard every day. That's my job. So I went on Amazon and I bought a DOS Keyboard Pro 4 with MX Blues because I knew nothing about anything, and that seemed like a good keyboard. It was an expensive keyboard, and I thought, well, that means it's a great keyboard. And for what it was a great keyboard. I typed on that thing for about 3 years. And I'm sure my coworkers wanted to kill me every single day because it had MX Blues and unlubed rattly stabilizers, and it was very loud. But eventually, I was going to a LAN party with some friends, and I thought, well, I've heard about these Cherry MX Reds, and some people say that they're better for gaming. So I bought a Vortex Race 3, like a 75%, which was the smallest keyboard I had ever owned to that point, with MX Reds. And I brought it to the LAN party, and I was like, wow, this is way better than my DOS keyboard. I think it had just been tuned a little bit better or something. But then I started thinking, wow, what else is out there? And from there, I just started, I joined the mechanical keyboard subreddit and just kind of watched people. I'm sure that's been a lot of people's stories, like the subreddit. Then you look at people's stuff, you see people complaining about their bank accounts, and you're like, oh, how could that possibly be true? Until someone posts a picture of a key cult and you Google it and you're like, oh, yes, I understand. And from there, I think I bought a Keychron. That's what it was. I got a Keychron, a couple of those, and then just started experimenting. You know, I think most people start with hot swaps and things of that nature, and then so the firm that I work at is an electrical engineering firm, and my dad's an electrical engineer, so I just kind of grew up soldering and have really enjoyed. Even though I do software, I enjoy hardware and I work with it a lot. So I thought it would be fun to try building my own keyboard, even though I was terrified. So I built one, and just it's been, the rest is history, as they say. So yeah, I've done a lot of commissions for friends and family, but I've started branching out, doing commissions on the internet for strangers, which is kind of a weird feeling, but it's been fun to, you know, have people trust me with their baby, which is definitely a lot more pressure, but it's really fun to kind of craft something that they love and that they use every day. So yeah, I don't know. I do love the aesthetics of keyboards a lot too. I'm a front-end developer, so I do a lot of web design and UI and UX development. So there's just something about things made for humans that I think is really beautiful to me. And what is more like made for humans than a keyboard, right? Like it's designed for us to be able to interact with the world digitally, and I think that's really cool. And then also just to be something beautiful in a lot of senses. So yeah, I don't know. No, fair enough. Still, you can, I think robots can use keyboards too. Speaking of robots, today I saw a video of Boston Dynamics. They had two of their humanoid robots and the one on wheels, and then the dog dancing to a song, and it was one of the most unbelievable things I'd ever seen. Like, I don't know, it just kind of looks like it's a scene from Chappie or something, but I don't know, just reminded me of that. Thanks, Ozzy, I appreciate that. Yeah, because I was shocked to learn how recently you got into the hobby. I can't remember where I saw it. It was either like an AMA you did on Instagram where people could submit questions or something, but I was like, wow, for you know, for being such kind of a prominent figure, I would say, you know, that's kind of a short amount of time to have been into it. I'm very impressed. So Ozzy, did you do photography before keyboards? I'm assuming so, just given the quality of the photos, but and if so, were you like a product photographer before this, or were you, yeah, kind of where did you pick up all of these photography skills from? This is fun. It's cool. I'm like interviewing my chat. I should do this more often. Started taking photos when you were a teenager and saved up for your first film camera. Mainly done portraits. Oh, cool. Right on. That is really neat. Okay, so it's been like you were able to flex a passion you already had into another one. Okay. Sure. Yep. I think that's really cool when you can collide two passions. Like for me, I love filmmaking. In fact, I started school for filmmaking, and I switched after a semester to computer science because, I don't know, it's one of those like don't make your hobby your job kind of scenarios, I would say. But yeah, I don't know. It's been fun for me to be able to work out live streaming in conjunction with building keyboards, because I've been building them for quite a while before I ever started live streaming. But just allowing two of your passions to collide is something really beautiful, I think. Had a photography tips blog since 2006. Okay, interesting. Cool. I don't want to like expose myself here, but my current lighting setup, I think I mentioned earlier, your stream had me like seconds away from pulling the trigger on some Godox lights on B&H, but yeah, I have two newer, or however you pronounce that brand, newer like LED panel lights with some t-shirts that I cut up on top of them to diffuse them. And for some reason, it was something you said in your stream. You said that the size of the light source is what determines the softness. And that kind of fascinated me because I had never considered that. For some reason, I thought, well, these modifiers, right, like your soft boxes, are making it soft because it's like extra material. But really what a modifier does is it spreads the light out to make the source bigger, and that's what makes it softer. And so that like kind of, that triggered something in my brain where I was like, oh, that's wild. I had never considered that before. I always thought it was like you could have a really close light with a modifier and it would be soft, but not really if it's a small light source that you're not distributing. So kind of fascinating. So I appreciate that. All right, let us. You got to make do sometimes. I also live in Montana, so there's no film store interloper mod. Perfect. There's no like store where I can go to get supplies. We have like one store for photography equipment that really doesn't have that much. So I feel like I would spend a lot more money if I could get stuff locally that I needed. Anyways, let us install our stabilizers because it would appear that is our second step. Bed sheets. Yep. I had a bunch of grocery bags on there for a while before I switched to the t-shirts, but they they gave it like a weird pink cast because they had like the Target logo on them or like another store logo that would give them a weird cast. So I ended up having to switch over the old t-shirt mod, the interloper mod. All right, let's get out the PCB. Sounds good. It's been great talking to you, Ozzy. This is wild. I still can't believe I'm chatting with you on here. Like, I don't know. It's kind of surreal. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, look at this. Okay, I will geek out with this a little bit, chat. This PCB is absolutely gorgeous. Look at the way they ran these traces. I mean, I don't know if you can really see this, but they're like in perfect parallel groups, and it's very, very hard to see. But you can kind of see on the left side here, like it's absolutely gorgeous. Like this is an amazing PCB. I love it. And I mean, yeah, you see a lot of PCB. Like, here's an interesting thing about the keyboard community I've noticed is that a lot of times, right, dude? Yeah, a lot of times I think the PCBs, because this is a community of enthusiasts, you end up with enthusiasts designing PCBs that maybe weren't professionally trained, right? Because at the end of the day, you just need to get an Arduino Nano onto a board. I mean, that's a huge oversimplification of it, but effectively that's what you got to do. But something like this just screams like this is a professional engineer versus this is a successful product that works, but it's really just we put an Arduino onto a PCB to make it easier for you kind of scenario. And man, when you see that, it's a thing of beauty. It gets me going. So let me put a little bit of tape down. It's very high now. I think the form combines with function. And one of the things that just I love to see as a UI UX designer is when the form is derived from the function, right? Like when you don't put form first, because I think there's beautiful things out there that are actually function driven from form, which just feels like a shoehorn to me. When you see something that was, and that was like I was saying, like it's designed for humans, that's where the form came from the function. They were thinking of the user when they designed it, and this is what it is, and I think it's beautiful. So I agree. The standard for releasing keyboards and keycaps is really high right now, and I think that's great. It's expensive, but I think that the standards are high, and I don't know. It's a great spot to be in for the keyboard community. I've really only been in the like serious mechanical keyboard community proper for probably 2.5, 3 years now. But even in that amount of time, the amount of stuff, I mean, like, look at what Glorious is doing with the GMMK Pro. Like, sure, that board has some problems. It's, you know, the stabilizer issue for one is, it's funny, I posted a video of that on my YouTube channel, and like 90% of the comments I was getting were from people saying, hey, I can't get my stabilizers, my Duroc V2s to fit through the plate. So, like, it's not a perfect keyboard, but something like that would not have existed at that price point 2 years ago, you know? I even saw Keychron is trying to make a competitor that's actually QMK compatible out of the box, which is interesting. I've enjoyed all the Keychrons that I've had so far. I think that they're good for their price point, and if you know how to desolder and resolder switches, you can easily make them punch way above their weight. Yeah, it looks exactly like the GMMK Pro. In fact, the first thing that I noticed about it was that it didn't have the rotary encoder, but then I saw you can pull that badge out of the top right-hand corner and put the put a rotary encoder in place. So I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, it's definitely like, this is a hard-nosed GMMK Pro competitor, and I believe it's almost exactly the same price. Actually, it might even be cheaper. Someone want to fact check me on that? I don't remember what exactly the pricing on it was, but it was, or maybe it hadn't been announced yet, I'm not sure, but it's a very competitive board, to say the least. So all right. Let's get these attached. I believe I can pop this. There we go. Let's get this cable off the daughter board. Okay, price isn't out yet. A moon car last night. Isn't it nice? Okay, so I built a D60 HHKB layout a couple streams ago, and I didn't know that I would like it nearly as much as I did. Like, every time I build a personal board, I'll take it to work and I'll try to daily drive it for a while just to see how it feels like actually like writing software and for day-to-day use. And there's something about the HHKB layout that was just feels so good. And part of it is probably because of my undying hatred for the caps lock key. And just wholesale replacing it with control is excellent. I know there's people out there. One of my mods, TRD Kyle, loves his caps lock key because he's an architect, and I understand that. But yes, exactly. Once you commit to the layout, now here's the problem with the HHKB layout is that your brain breaks every time you go back. The amount of slashes I've typed instead of backspacing something is insane. And yeah, just the amount of times I've caps locked instead of controlled is insane. So, you know, you take the good with the bad, but it's a great layout, and I really love it. So exactly. Or just use auto hotkey to remap my laptop keyboard to be HHKB, and there you go. The poor man's QMK, or the desperate man's QMK. You can actually do some neat stuff with auto hotkey. I have a little macro pad that I use to switch scenes, and I just have it mapped to F13 through F24, which are all like reserved windows. They're technically available keystrokes, but programs almost never use them. So you'll almost never step on another program's hotkeys if you use those. And that's been really great for, you know, you can use auto hotkey, or you can map those to stuff within Streamlabs, which I use, or whatever. I wrote a custom piece of software to be this little EQ at the bottom of the screen here, right above the interloper logo on the bottom right, and that is just tied into those high F row numbers just to change the volume as I change scenes. So it's almost like, yeah, that's true. QMK is definitely not beginner friendly. However, let me complain to you for a little bit. Neither of them do a very good job with rotary encoders. There's an alternative to VIA called Vial, VIAL, that does rotary encoders. It's a bit tricky to port a QMK keyboard to Vial. First, you have to port it to VIA, then you have to port it to Vial. So I would love to see VIA step up and have support for rotary encoders, especially with boards like the Nibble, like I built last week, that has an onboard rotary encoder. That's really nice to be able to remap. I understand why Glorious has their own software right now, because if you want to remap that rotary encoder, it's a lot easier to do it with the Glorious core software than it is with QMK at the moment. So I don't know. Exactly. Yeah, macro pads have them all the time. I'm building a BDN9 that has 3 rotary encoders on it, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I think I'm going to port that to Vial, because the client wants to be able to remap it himself, and so it needs to be compatible with Vial. So anyways, that's the only major downside to the QMK kind of tool chain at the moment, is that if you want, you can do it with QMK, but you can't use the online QMK configurator. You have to go into the C, like the make file or whatever it is, that C header file, and create a custom key mapping that way, which can be kind of overwhelming. It's even worse than using like the configurator, downloading it, flashing the board. So you have to have like Windows subsystem for Linux, or just an Ubuntu installation or something to actually pull that off. So I don't know. I'm sure that they're working on it, I would imagine. I mean, I don't want to speak for them, but okay. So isn't this cute? This is like a Lego instruction guide. So we have the stabilizers installed. Excuse me. Next, we have it's even worse if you have to, I don't know. It's not worse. It is nice to understand those things, but it's a lot. I will say, fun fact, the Windows subsystem for Linux, this is an installable like command line distro of Linux that you can run. So you can basically open up a command line in Windows and it's running Ubuntu, which is amazing. So then you can actually install QMK in it and then run CMake to build a firmware file, which is awesome. But to get the latest version of that, you have to be on the developer preview of Windows, which turns out is the Windows 11 track. So I was using my laptop to create QMK builds with the WSL, and then one day it rebooted and it came back up with Windows 11, and I was like, what is this? Why is everything in the middle of my taskbar and like it all looks different? And then I Googled like what's wrong with my Windows, and it was like Windows 11 is here. So that's neat. Okay. So according to these instructions, we just put the silicon pad down. Then we need to put down some washers, or the standoffs, excuse me. All right. Oh, here's the switch puller. I didn't even have to order this. Let's take a peek at this. Oh, and it's even in the colorway of the board that I ordered. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh, dude. So much better. Look at how bent that thing is. Nice. Thank you, Rama. Also, I want to say, I think this board is relatively inexpensive. I mean, compared to a lot of Rama boards in general, and even like relative to what you're getting, I think. Because the biggest downside is the shipping. It's coming from Australia. Uh-oh. Nobody move, I dropped something. Okay, we're good. Let me put all these up here. Yeah, because for me, you know, shipping to the US takes a minute and also is more expensive. Now, to be fair, I live in the US, so it's a lot easier to get stuff. There's so many great US vendors. There we go. Okay. So I believe, yes, I will be installing these 6 standoffs here and then screwing them in. Oh, you're Aussie. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I can handle having to wait for my Rama Works stuff because I get everything else. You know, I can just, especially because now that Divinity is a thing, they are basically a proxy for KBD fans. So the majority of the stuff that KBD fans has in stock, not the majority, but a lot of the things that like KBD fans tries to stock those things are also available with free shipping in the US. And then it usually gets to me within like 3 days. So definitely am not one to be complaining here. Okay, did I open the wrong bag? Because these are very tiny screws. Am I not reading these instructions properly? Okay, so this silicone dampening mat needs to go on here. And then these standoffs go in here. 2, 3, 4. Oh, look at that little space for the stab wire. That's so nice. 5, 6. These do look tiny, but let me check the other bag. It might actually be these. M2x3 and then T10s and T6s. Let's check what these are. T10s. Yes, that would be these. Great. It's the non-countersunk ones in the back. Perfect. Thank you. I know the instructions say to do dampener or damper, then standoffs. Maybe once I get 2 of these in. It just feels like they're going to fall when I have it upside down. Cool. Okay, we got 2 in. I think that's going to help stabilize it a bit. It's really cool tooling too. Does anyone know the story of Rama Works, like how they came to be? Were they like a bunch of design engineers who just one day were like, let's make keyboards? I mean, it really feels like... Oh, nobody move. I dropped another thing. I hate that. We're good, I found it. Only one in the top middle could fall out, but didn't have too much drama. Yeah, that one's not surrounded on all sides. But yeah, like I was saying, it feels like Rama Works was just like people who definitely had a lot of experience before they started doing what they do, you know? I don't know. I have not Googled this. There we go. All right. Whoop. There we go. Drop the tool. It's all right. We'll get these last two in. All right. Is that all of them? I believe so. Great. Okay. So then the next step is putting the plate on, which is underneath my instruction manual, and then attaching the screws on top of that, which would be the shorter ones, I believe, that are countersunk. Yes. Okay, great. The T6. I wish the US would switch to metric. Okay. That's insane. I guess I kind of imagined it was like a massive team of designers, given how like thoroughly designed everything was. That, you know, it was maybe like 6 or 7 designers or something, you know? Okay. Okay. That's cool that he named the keycaps after his wife. Or maybe she designed them. Either way, excited to buy them. Okay. We have our plate assembly. Look at this. This is so nice. This is such an interesting way of gasket mounting it too, with this dampener also having the gaskets in it. I've never seen anything like that before. All right, let's safely store all of our remaining screws so that we don't have any more incidents. All right, and then let's grab our switches, which are these lovely little mint linears. The first thing I want to do is test out the stabilized keys, just to make sure we're all good in the hood. And then I might test the PCB, because I realized I haven't done that yet. So let's grab some keys. The main problem with MT3 keycaps is that they're made of PBT, so they tend to warp. So we may run into issues with like the space bar not returning, especially given that it's a 7-unit key. It is a big boy. I had issues with my, ooh. Not only does that return, but it sounds incredible. I had issues with my MT3 Serica not returning. This one feels a tad bit stiff. Oh, there we go. Just wasn't seated. I used Krytox 205G0 on the housing and the outside of the stems. And then I used a syringe with Krytox 205 grade 2 to inject it a little bit into the stems and where the wire meets the housing. Frankly, I do it differently than most people I've seen, but it works real well for me. I don't even lube the end of the wire because I've injected a whole bunch of grade 2 into where the wire goes. So yeah, it seems like it works really well. I'll maybe post at some point. I might make a video on how I do it. I know like Teja has a video on how he does it, but you know, I definitely do it differently. But I don't know. I've built so many boards that way that I've just kind of I trust it. So yeah. Yeah, syringing grade 2 is kind of expensive. All right. So let's plug this guy in and let's pull up via. Ooh. Well, it definitely seems like it works. Oh, it's pretty. Let's flip it over and let's get the tweezers of truth. and let us find out how we're looking. Wait. There we go. Maybe this test matrix thing. Oh, it's because I don't have. There it is. VIA wasn't in focus, I'm guessing. Or do I need to turn off test matrix? Escape. There we go. Let me actually turn on sounds for this. Oh, something's... Oh, I'm holding a key down. That's what's going on. Hello? Does the switch not work? We'll come back to that. It might be a mod. I'm guessing that's mod. That's probably function. Which would not make a sound or show up in the VIA switch tester, but... This is... Oh, that's Windows. So I have opened Windows. This is probably also a layer mod. In fact, we can check. If I switch to the configuration here, we can see. Yeah, these are both function keys, which would be why they didn't show up. So this goes to layer 3. Interesting. Well, I can reprogram that as I see fit, but... Oh, wait, there we go. My macro pad is freaking out. All right, we have officially tested the board, which is something I normally do earlier, but for some reason I just have an inherent trust here, you know? So the next step will be to install all of our switches. Like I said at the beginning, these are Mint linears, which I'm very excited about. You can get them at Dino Keys. Shout out. So lubed with Crytox 205 grade 0 and 105 on the springs. This is a nice plate. We'll test this again after I get all the switches. Yeah, I am excited. I saw Alex Otos did one with tangerines, and that was what made like I'm a full disclosure, I'm on Team Tactile all the way. My D60 is built with black bobas, which are phenomenal, by the way. Bobas, kiwis, and holy pandas are some of my favorite switches out there. But I do like me a linear, especially a nice lubed JWK. I mean, there's just something about that. So after I heard one of these things with linears in it, I was like, ooh, I gotta try me that. Plus, I don't have any boards with MT3 keycaps that are linear, and I thought that would be a really interesting combo, you know? So, we will see. All right. I really like this damper plate mount style. I think I mentioned it already, but it's very unique and it's very interesting. And I had said at the beginning of the stream, if anyone can make an all plastic keyboard sound good, it's Rama Works, and I think this is probably the way to do it. I also, like I said, I have that internal damper. We can try this with and without too. I'm sure some folks would be interested in hearing that. I did not get the weight. As much as I love me a heavy keyboard, I decided to get the internal damper instead. I think part of the reason for that was maybe because, if I'm recalling correctly, this was 6 months ago, I think the weight was sold out at the time, but the damper wasn't. So I was like, I was debating about it, and then I looked at Rama's website, and I was like, oh, well, easy decision. Kind of was made for me here. But, yeah, we'll, either way, I do tend to like internally dampened keyboards a lot. So, I've modded a lot of boards by popping them open, sticking some foam in there, you know how it is. But yeah, I agree with I think I was listening to a stream with Apiary, and she said that she likes to give the keyboard a chance to speak on its own before you fill it up with dampers, and I think that there's a lot of wisdom in that. So I think I'll definitely do sound test both ways, because there's no soldering on this stream, so we got time. But trust me, we will make up for it on the soldering because I have so many. I think I have 3 Mysteriums coming up and 2 basket weaves, and just I have a potential client who wants a full-size Corsair desoldered and resoldered. So and a discipline, like a client build of a discipline. So there will be more soldering than you can shake a stick at. Let me assure you of that. So, and desoldering. All right. We have all of our switches installed. Let's do another quick testaroo. Let's pull up VIA, key tester. So much easier to do this. Yep. It's already defaulting to the HHKB layout. Oh, love that control there. Enter. Function key. Yep. And secondary function key, which probably does something. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't want to hit reset accidentally. Hit Windows there. Alt, Windows, Alt, space, Alt, and then a mod. Great. Every switch, as far as I can tell, is working. Neat. Yeah, dude, I know. It's a monster. It's a full 104 switch scenario here, so... but I'm game for it. Honestly, that's one of the things I love, is like taking a keyboard and giving it new life. There's something nice about that. So let me actually, the next step appears to be to install the keycaps. I'm wondering if I can do that later, but I mean, this is such a nice manual. I don't want to not do what it says. I don't know, dude. Should I install the keycaps now? Let's install the keycaps now. Let's shake it up and follow instructions for once in our lives. Let that be a lesson to all of us, that if the instruction manual is pretty enough, people will follow it. So make your instruction manuals pretty. And even a barbarian like me, who always throws out the manual first thing, will do it. Okay. So to those of you new to the stream, I live fast and loose, and I keep my keycaps in these deli containers because it's easier. Isn't it nice? Thank you. Thanks for mentioning that. I just swapped it out today. I had the Alex Zotos Minify Dark for a long time, and I accidentally melted it with my soldering iron and my desoldering gun. But I figured For the elegance of the Soya, I needed something that was kind of in that ballpark of kind of off-whitish. So here we are. I have way too many desk mats, though. I think I have probably 20 of them. It's a problem, but it's also something that I do so that I have more backdrops for my stream, in a sense, you know. It's like set decoration. All right, so in the spirit of chaos, let me just dump out this whole thing. Also, bear in mind, I apologize in advance, but bear in mind, this is not only the base kit, but it is also, oh, interesting. I think this is a lighter gray, maybe. It's also the Ergodox kit because I have an Ergo and a couple other random kits like space bars and stuff. So this is just a nightmare. So please bear with me. I speak often about how I should really pre-kit my keycaps, and this would be a great stream to do that. But you know your boy didn't do that. I'm hoping that's the right control. It's really wide, so I'm thinking it maybe is. I don't know about that. We'll see. And then, what else do we need? We don't need a backspace, right? Or do we? Is it this? I think this is the right... Oh, man. We're getting lucky here. And then we need... I think this is too big. Yeah, it is. I love this keycap set. I also hadn't seen Spirited Away until fairly recently, like in the last year. And it was delightful and charming, and I loved everything about it. And I immediately, it was like the next day these keycaps went up on drop, and I was like, it's a sign, I'm buying it. Me too. You know, the funny thing is too, apparently this keycap set had been in the works for ages, but then when it finally did come out, like people were all up in arms about the colors being a little bit off, which I had known nothing about. So I was like minding my own business, completely happy about the way everything looked, and people were just absolutely rioting in the streets on drop. So I don't know, it is what it is. All right, here's the Alt key. Is this spacebar wider? I don't think so. That's something I noticed on the HHKB layout on my other keyboard, is that there tends to be a kind of awkward gap between the spacebar and the mods on the sides. I don't know if that's... Yeah, see how that is? I don't really know if that's normal or if I'm just using the wrong spacebar, like if there's... You know what? I'm thinking that there's actually not alphas in this box. So maybe I'll just grab all my mods and bounce. I think this is all like F-Row stuff. So I should just look for all my mods and then we'll be done with this. Is this one Alt as well? Or is it Windows? I don't remember. Let us look it up. We have the internet. All right, HHKB. Hello? Images. There we go. Aha! This is not Alt. This is Windows. Oh, I see what it is. It's a 1U Alt. And then a much bigger, like, Windows thing to go here. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay. Well, that's fixable. So here's our tiny Alt. We just need a big Windows key. And I might have even switched it on my one at work too. So I might actually make this be like a big Alt, and then we'll do a Windows here, because I think that's how I had it programmed personally. You know, to each their own. Does this even fit on this row? I don't think so. So that's probably implying the same thing here, where this would be like a bit, yeah, a big control there. And then a little modifier over there. Neat. We'll just put this guy here. Okay. Oh, this looks promising. These sound so good, dude. These mint linears. And I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Scroll lock. Psh, never heard of it. Nice. Little tilde. We like little tilde. Little tilde is useful for opening up the terminal on Visual Studio Code. So there you go. I don't think we need this key either. Yep. That's too small. So we just need a Windows, like a 1U Windows key, which could be like just the diamond maybe. Or something. What am I feeling today? Something, I'd like something red though. Let's try to get Dino's lettering. Oh, yes. Do it. I'm not seeing any other multicolored mods here. So let us check that which I rejected. There's a 1U alt. That's the profile I'm after, but... Oh, menu. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We take those. Okay. So we're packing up this box, I think. Oh, wait. We need a shift key, don't we? That might be in the other set, though. I think it's green. Yes, here we go. Cool. And then we actually need another shift key for this side, which is right here. Here's a poll to the audience. Does anyone out there actually use the right shift? Because I don't. And I'm wondering if I'm alone in that. All right, let's pack these back up. Pack them up, boys. I think this is the escape we want to. No? Use the right one, don't use the left. Same. I'm trying to think if there's a scenario. Never use right shift. Yeah. So like, in the spirit of the HHKB, I feel like I should map it to something else. Right? Because that's kind of the thing. It's like, make the most efficient layout you can. But I don't know. I don't know what I'd map it to. You don't need arrows. You don't need you. Here's the F. If you use tilde in top right. Oh, interesting. Delete. I use tilde up here and then function backspace for delete. Actually, that's my preference for the HHKB. I also have been using control backspace for years. I have an auto hotkey script that does that for me. And so whenever I forget to start up my auto hotkey, you know, it doesn't work. But yeah, that's one thing that I'm just really accustomed to. So let's see, FGH. I think that's flipped correctly, but it might not be. think maybe that's right. Then we'll put this guy. I think this goes here. Nope, goes one over. Question mark goes here. And then J. I love the deep scoops on the MT3 where you've got the homing keys. It's so satisfying. ER. I also will do function WASD as my arrow keys. And then function shift WASD as like page up, page down, home, end. I understand if you find that triggering. No page down. We don't need that where we're going. TYUI. Wait. ERTYUIO. Yeah, so that is there. No command. I had this set on a keychron, which I was using as a keyboard on a Mac at work. However, once I discovered the magic of Google Remote Desktop, because I do app development a lot, so I need to run a build server on a Mac. So I got one of those M1 Mac minis, and I was using a keychron, which is one of the only like out of the box, you know, Mac supported, or at least it had a switch on the side and the keys were labeled, whatever. And I was using that for a long time, so that's why I have the command out. But then when I discovered you can use Google Remote Desktop to connect to a Mac Mini, I have it running headless, so I don't even have a monitor on it. It just sits on my desk, and underneath a monitor for my Windows machine, and then I can just remote into it to do what I need to do, which is very convenient. And also, I've never been a huge fan of the Mac OS. I just, I don't know. Yeah, I could talk about that for a while. But I will say the M1 processor is a miracle of engineering, because I used to run a build service on like a 2016, 2017 MacBook Pro, and it would take about 6 minutes to build my app. When I switched to an M1 in a Mac Mini, it cut it down to 18 seconds, which really blew my mind. So for the price of like these Mac, like the new MacBooks that are coming out with that chip, I honestly think it's a great value. Like, and that's with it running on, it's not Rosetta, that's what they called it last generation. But whatever it is that translates from like Intel speak to M1 speak. So it's still running, it's basically running on an emulator, and it's still that much faster. Like I still, every time I think about it, I'm shocked. So props to Apple. I mean, you know, however you feel about them, like it's just a miracle. So Apple needs to make a mechanical. Well, they did, right? That's what Extended 2048 was supposed to like kind of emulate. It was like the old school mechanical keyboards that came on the old Macs. I think. I don't know. Okay, we have our keycaps installed. Boom. Step 9. Place it upside down in my case. Can you imagine what that would cost though? Although relative to the hobby, I'm sure there'd be way more expensive mechanical boards, but still. All right, I want to be very gentle with this because I don't want to mess it up. The Alps switches. I forgot about that. I've never used Alps switches. Alps and Topre are the switches that like I'm scared of, but I want to try. Okay, how do I get this out? I really don't want to mess this up. I can bend it. Oh, that scared me. Okay. Oh. All right. Glad to know I'm not the only one. Okay, so this goes face down. Get in there, bud. These are bigger keycaps. And actually, I flipped the spacebar, which may cause some issues. I'm not sure. Okay, I just need to get this. Does this go underneath? Do we tuck this rubber part underneath? I believe we do. I'm thinking we do. Oh, just remove it. Bruh. Right. Hey. Feeling called out here. Yeah, because the next instruction is how to install it. Hey. Y'all sleeping on the bruh cam? Hey, you know what? I've been working on, I don't want to give too much away, but bruh cam 2.0 is in the works. And let me just say, it is nightmarish, but it works. Kind of. It's hard when you've got only one camera that you're trying to split into multiple video streams, which you can do with Python and OpenCV, but it becomes very taxing on your computer at a certain point when you're trying to do long story short, the gist of Bruhcam 2 is that I have a Python script running on my PC that is taking in the video feed from my face cam, and then it tracks my face, and then wherever my face moves, it just stays really, really tightly punched in on my face. So it's like, you know those edits when you see like it's motion tracked to their face and it's just like they're really just like punched in? It's that, but happening real time. So that's Bruhcam 2, but needless to say, it's a lot of effort and I haven't finished it. I am using Streamlabs. So I didn't fully remove this thing, but I popped it up enough to get everything to fit and seat underneath it. So I'm satisfied. So I'm going to tighten it down again. But yeah, I use Streamlabs, but you know, I do a lot of fiddling around with, virtual cameras and things like that, trying to get the most out of multiple cameras or out of single cameras without paying for Streamlabs, because I'm cheap like that. And I figure, why not waste countless man hours to do something rather than paying for it? It's just a good indicator that I do not value my own time. So that's what I do. I will say it is nice to like have side projects to tinker with, but whatever. Okay, we have this installed. I've already stopped using the instructions, but we're back on track now. Listen, the instructions didn't say to remove this piece first, did they? I don't want to check because I don't want to get called out on that. Okay, so next we can attach this daughter board, which I can pop this off of, onto the bottom housing. So let's do that. Let's grab this guy. And then it goes with the USB-C facing up, and we use the T10 fasteners, which are the square boys. See, I think the key to the Bruhcam, though, I still want to call you Ducktective, even though that's not your name. You'll be Duck in my heart. You see, Duck, the key to using the Bruhcam is to use it sparingly, you know? Because once you overuse the Bruhcam, it's no longer comedic, because it's just now a thing that happens. Versus the key to comedy is surprise. So, you know, when something sneaks up on you, it's a lot funnier. That's my philosophy. And it aligns with my tendency to forget things, which frankly is more often than not the reason why I don't use the Brookham. Okay, let us not attach the internal damper yet. Okay, I'm thinking we'll do a sound test without it, and then we'll do a sound test with it, and we will compare. So what I need to do now is not attach anything, but plug in this daughter board. Skipping ahead. Yes. Okay, now, yeah, attach daughter board. And then screw this whole thing down. Okay. Exactly. It has to be a surprise. So this needs to snap into place. Yes. Oh, we're snapping. Okay. I'm only going to put 2 of these in at first, and I'm going to show you why. Whoa. We cannot mar the finish of this absolutely gorgeous board. All right. What I would like to highlight real quick, if you'll indulge me, is the screw head. I just think it's pretty. Isn't it? T10. RWFT. M4-8. Very cool. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, she's bucking. I think I'm slightly misaligned here. I think we're in now. Let's see. Oh, come on, son. There we go. I agree. Attention to detail. Okay, feet are in. Now we need the rubber feet, which are what I had miscategorized as gaskets earlier. But good thing no one remembers that. That would be embarrassing. Keep it in your heart and out of the chat. Hide my shame. Listen, it could have been a gasket, all right? Okay, great. And the final step is keyboard. Look at that. This looks like a typewriter. I'm kind of wondering if Serica would have been a nicer colorway on this board, but honestly, look at this thing. Sheesh. Is that a dying meme now? Sheesh. Probably. It's fine. I'm old. I can use that. All right. Let's do a sound test, shall we? And then let's put the damper in, and we'll do another one, and then I can compare them. So, let's plug this in. Ooh. Look at that. That's okay. That's the other thing that I think that this diffuser, I mean, it's acting as a diffuser. It's the damper inside the silicone gasket layer does a very good job of is dispersing it. So even though these aren't shine through caps, look at them. All right, let's get a little monkey type going. And let me adjust my microphone. Please hold. Okay, this is a Rama Kara in the Soya colorway with lubed mint linears and MT3 Susuwatari. All right. We like that. That sounds nice. I'm feeling it. They do sound like silent switches. Honestly, it's like, I mean, obviously not 100%. And I'm sure I probably have some like gain settings that I could adjust a little bit for this sound test. I think I have the noise completely, like any noise gates and stuff are completely turned off so that it's 100% room tone, but still. Let us now put in the internal damper, which will probably make it sound even more quiet. I may pick up, because they are doing weights, internal weights again with this new group buy. So I may pick up one of those. And then if I don't pick up a whole nother Kara, you know, I might. I have no self-control. Somebody stop me. It's okay. Listen, you got to turn your hobby into a business, and then everything is tax deductible, which means it's free, right? That's what I think. Interesting. Yeah, that's what I've found about them, because I've played with them a little bit on another hot swap board, was just that they're very quiet. Okay, let us pop out this guy and let's put our internal damper in. I think I should try this with, yeah, like Tangies or alpacas maybe, you know. This is probably not the last we'll see of the old Ramakara, though. That's all I'm saying. Creams, H1s, MX Blacks, Hyperglide MX Blacks. Come on. They're so good. All right, only 3. Good. I love my Hyperglides. Okay. All right. Yeah, the nice thing is, being a hot swap board, I can do whatever I want. Question for those who have one: do you need to disassemble it to swap, or is it easy enough to just swap it out when it's fully assembled? What's the thought there? Hot swap board and never swap switches out. Disassemble. Okay, okay. Ain't that just the way? I have had that happen many times. Where, yeah, buy the hot swap board, never hot swap it. In fact, I have probably desoldered. Okay, gotcha. I'm also thinking like I might scrape it up trying to get a switch puller or a cap puller through there. But yeah, I love alpacas. They're so nice. Silent alpacas are one of the only silent switches I like. Speaking of which, I have silent Gateron inks. Ooh, inks might be really nice in this. I have silent black inks in this board right here. And I am at some point going to disassemble and O-ring mod this tofu and probably replace the switches, because I'm about done with the silent switches. Just kind of not my thing. So I'm thinking that'll be probably a sooner rather than later stream. So I'll have to pick out some switches. I did pick up some lubed. Yeah, they do. They just have that rubber in the bottom, and obviously they need that to be silent. So it's like a catch-22. But I picked up some lubed dragon fruits, and I know I was warned, but I was not prepared for even how weird they feel when they're lubed. Like, they felt kind of clicky almost. Like, oh, thank you. There we go. Appreciate it. All right, let's see how this feels now. Is this? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Doesn't feel much different. Let's do a sound test. See how we compare. Okay. Okay, this is a Rama Kara in the Soyu color with mint linears that are lubed, using MT3 Susuwatari, but this time with the internal damper. All right. Let's see if I can get the music back. Come on, bud. There we go. It is very muted, which I don't mind. Honestly, like office keyboard wise, this is probably a lot better than my D60 with the bobas. Wow. what a board. I had high expectations, and I feel like they've been completely met. Like, it doesn't sound creaky, it doesn't sound hollow, it doesn't sound plasticky. It's, I think, a little bit light for my taste. The D60 was a solid aluminum because it wasn't the D60 light, but I think it actually cost more than this. Let me actually check. It sounds like hitting a block of ice with a rubber spoon. All right, that's very descriptive. I appreciate that. Let's check pricing on this. So for my D60, I spent, so the Kara was $231 shipped with the internal damper. It's $160, $160 for the base model. Then you're also going to pay for the internal damper if you want it, and then you're also going to pay for shipping to the US if that's where you live. But all in all, $231 for the board shipped is pretty good. I think the D60 was a lot more than that. It was $355 shipped. So then, you know, chuck in whatever switches and caps, which are going to be the same between boards. It's like, I don't know, especially for a Rama board. Like, talking about attention to detail, like I keep saying, just all the little things, good instructions, good transparency. There were some delays with this board, specifically related to the internal weights, but they were very transparent about it, about like what's going on, why you haven't gotten your board yet. And so all in all, I mean, just what a great board. It really makes me want to spend that extra money. I thought about getting a thermal when those were on group buy. I didn't. Part of me was like, yeah, it's, you know, just pick it up. Worst case scenario, you flip it for double what you paid for it, which is true with the Rama boards, but still, I was just, you know, I'm not a flipper at heart. So, but I agree, for the money, it is hard to beat. The thermal, I also at the time wasn't so sold on the HHKB layout, but now that I am, I think the thermal HHKB looked way better than the full 60 thermal. So if they do a sequence 3 of the thermal, I am completely in on that. Also the U80, I mean, pretty much every board they make, I think is amazing. I've never gotten one of their little macro pads, but they usually, like, I think they had one with Oblivion, they had one with dual shot, and a couple others, Milkshake, and I think that would be fun to pick up. I do have my old faithful little macro pad, which has more keys than one of those does, but still. All that to say, this colorway is gorgeous. I love the off-white, just the kind of eggshell color. I just think it's really pretty. It can be a bit hard to color match, I would say, but when you combine the retro color with like this retro style of keycap, I just think it looks amazing. I'll have to take some good pictures of it at some point, but I would 100% recommend this board. For the money, it's hard to beat. The only thing I would say, and let's take a peek just to make sure, is I think you can only get this in the HHKB layout. So if that's a deal breaker for you, then I'm sorry, but also give it a chance. Like, it's a great layout if you are able to get used to it. Having control where caps lock is amazing. Having backspace where the backslash usually is amazing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I rave a lot about a lot of boards, and like, I know last week I was really high on the Nibble, and I still am. I think it's a great board, but yeah, HHKB is just a great layout, and I really like it. So it does everything that I like right. I think that the F row is dumb. If you can just hold function and hit 1, why would you also have an F1? I think that caps lock is dumb, so putting control there is smart. Yeah, it's like, for me, I'd honestly rather have either an HHKB layout or like a full size layout. So those are kind of like, that's where I stand on this. But anyways, yeah, honestly, I mean, this Noct is really nice. Milk is really nice. Iced is nice. I don't know. These are just pretty. Like I said, Momo and like GMK Peaches and Cream would just, oh, that'd be killer. So yeah, I don't know. Especially when the Kate keycaps come out, that's going to be a game changer. I don't know when that'll be. There's no update on that, but yeah, if you got 6 months and like $200 in your pocket, I would go for it. frankly. Like, I'm gonna start daily driving this at work, but I'm beyond excited. Look at it. I know, look at it. It's so nice. Dude, what keycaps would be good on this either? I don't know. Like, or DSS Carpinteria would be really nice. That was on who ran that? 3D Keebs is running that. Like a navy would look nice on this, I think. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. But I think that's all I got for today. Like, I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to see, or if you don't have one that you want to know about it? Like, guess what? I got this in hand. Thanks so much for watching. Like, those of you, especially those of you who stuck around after the raid, like, that's really cool of you. Test, not on your life. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, those of you who followed. Thanks for the follow, click big. That's really, I mean, man, this has been such a huge stream for me, like, in terms of viewership and just follows. Like, it's been awesome. So I am super grateful for it. So thank you so much. But yeah, no, I'm thrilled about this. I will definitely be ordering more from Rama Works. I finally picked up a Rama Works keycap, but I haven't mounted it yet. It's the GMK Classic Blue X Rama. So yeah, anyways, I guess if that is it, is there anyone you want to raid? Keeb Noob is streaming. I have raided her. Crisp Funk. Extras. Yeah, dude. I picked up extras on novel keys. That's how I got that Rama. I had the base set. That was actually one of the first group buys I ever entered, was the classic blue base set. And I picked up the space bars later because I hadn't been converted to the way of Alice, which I have a bunch of Alice boards that I love now. It's funny, I actually gravitate more towards the HHKB than the Alice layout though, but all that aside, yeah. So I picked up the space bars and the Rama. So thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's kind of you to say. It's fun. It's fun streaming for you guys. And I don't know, it's just like, even if there's not a lot of people here, you know, like 11 is a lot for me. So it's been super fun to just hang out with you guys. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just feeling thankful, having a good time. Okay. Thank you for saying that. I have been talking about this for ages, and I am devastated that GMK Velo is indefinitely postponed, because look at this. Hold on. I think, is it this? Look at my colors. They're like Betamax colors. I stole them off of a Betamax cassette tape because I have a lot of nostalgia for that kind of thing. But when I saw GMK Velo, I was like, that's the most instant cop I've ever seen. And then it got indefinitely delayed. Look at this. This is just my heart on a spit right here. Indefinitely delayed. Are you kidding me? Think about how good it would look on this board. Look at this. Look at these colors. This like off-white with the orange. Oh, I'm so mad. I'm so mad. It's okay. I can't get everything that I want in this world, and I'm thankful for what I have, and I gotta remind myself of that. But oh my word. This is like the perfect color scheme. It's okay. These things happen. I understand. Maybe someday they will run, but it is what it is. But you better believe I'm first in line the second this goes on group buy. So. Oh, look at that desk man. I need that so bad. Oh. Anyways, I've been rambling for a while here, so. Yes, dude, it would look so good on this Rama. Oh. It's kind of like the perfect pairing of let me see if I can find it. The perfect pairing I found with the heavy industry and that D60 I built. Let me pull up a photo if you haven't seen it, that I built a while ago, but I did snap a couple pictures of that one. Look at this. It's like I had this D60 that's like gray and orange, and then I ended up grabbing heavy industry off of Mech Market, and I was just this it's perfect. It's meant to be. So this is what I've been daily driving at work this whole time. But yeah, I do also really like this barleycorn that I built, but it's a little bit big for me now. So I've been using that. I've been using this a lot, an Alice style. Yeah, I do too, especially because my 7U spacebar is pretty warped on this guy. You can even kind of see it here, how it's just kind of like pulling away on the edges. Kind of got away from me there. So I'd love to get in on it for a round 3, but or just get a space bar. I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, this is some little sneak peek of all of my photos that might be coming soon to an Instagram near you. But anyways, I think that's enough rambling for today. I'd just like to reiterate how much I appreciate you watching me, whether it's here on Twitch or on YouTube. If you ever have any questions about anything, I'll do my best to answer. Feel free to drop me a line. You can send me an email. You can join my Discord if you want. Let me post my socials in here. Socials. I think that works. Does it? Or does it not? Is my stream bot not working? It's fine. Just go to interlopercreative.com, I believe is my website. And you can find me there. You can find my Discord. You can find my Instagram. Also in the description section here. So yeah, like I said, if you want to build services, if you want help with anything, I'm available. So yeah, what's up with that? My bot's been slacking today. What am I paying him for? So yeah, I love building keyboards. I love the keyboard community. I've met pretty much exclusively nice people in this hobby. It's been a treat. So I'd love to just chat with you. You can check me out on YouTube. I'll try to be posting content other than just my VODs on my YouTube channel at some point, but I'm in the midst of buying a house, so there's all that going on. So anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, thanks so much for the raid, Dutch. That's so cool of you, and it was nice to meet all you guys. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. So having said that, 10 out of 10 would recommend a Ramakara. Let's find someone to raid though, actually. Hold on. Who do you want to raid? Let's raid. I'm thinking of raiding KeebNoob. Thank you, Rory. I don't trust my bot to /raid, so let's go to my dashboard and try to do it from there. Stream manager. There we go. And then raid channel. KeebNoob. All right, be nice, say hi. KeebNoob's pretty cool. She was doing a preview of a board I was really excited about last time, and it was like perfect serendipity. So anyways, I will see you guys over there. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time.